we elected a new Grand Master to take over the leadership of the Grand Lodge. Sadly, the legally required social distancing regulations of the response to the pandemic have made the timing of his installation an unknown. Brethren, I consider this to be unfair on the Grand Master-elect and on our brethren. Uncertainty is a curse, and the hiatus between his election and an unknown installation date is, in my opinion, bad for the order. I have therefore decided that, in the interests of certainty in the order, I will step down today, and I therefore resign as the Grand Master. This may seem a little drastic, but according to our Constitution, our newly elected Grand Master can only take the reins of power prior to his installation as acting Grand Master when the chair of King Solomon becomes vacant. Our new Grand Master and his team deserve the opportunity to bring their collective creativity to a desperately fluid situation and to chart a course for the Grand Lodge which will allow it to continue to prosper. I therefore symbolically hand the reins of power to Right Worshipful Brother John Smith, OSM, MSA, our Grand Master-elect, and request that he now addresses the brethren as the new head of our order. Thank you, brethren.
Most Worshipful Grand Master, Right Worshipful Provincial Grand Master, Most Worshipful, Right Worshipful, Very Worshipful, Worshipful Brethren and Brethren all. Most Worshipful Past Grand Master, thank you for taking this unprecedented and unselfish step in resigning from the office of Grand Master at the end of your term, to enable me as the Grand Master-elect to assume the authority and responsibility of leading this Grand Lodge. This unselfish act in relinquishing your power is the mark of a true leader and a statesman. I value and I respect your decision, and I appreciate your assistance, guidance, and advice since my election to this high office. As Freemasonry is a progressive science, your decision today is certainly in line with our principles and tenets. When Pope Benedict XVI announced his resignation as the Pope, which was also an unprecedented act, he stated that he was well aware of the seriousness of this decision, but that with the blessing of God and with the full freedom of a conscious mind, he was relinquishing his position to enable the new Pope to take charge of the rapid changes which were happening in the world and in the Catholic Church. Most Worshipful Past Grand Master, we have debated your decision today at length, and I am satisfied that you have announced your resignation as the Grand Master with the blessing of the great architect of the universe and for the benefit of the Grand Lodge of South Africa. I certainly hope and pray that I will be equally blessed to fulfill my duties, firstly as the acting Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of South Africa, and I look forward to my installation at your hand in the near future, at which event I will have much more to say to you. Brethren, as all Grand Lodge offices have now been rendered vacant, it is incumbent upon me to announce the appointment of the following senior Grand Lodge officers who will assume their responsibilities immediately and who will be obligated and invested at my installation. I appoint as my Deputy Grand Master, Right Worshipful Brother Brandon Topham. I appoint as an Assistant Grand Master, Right Worshipful Brother Elf Bronner. I appoint as an Assistant Grand Master, Right Worshipful Brother Avron Jacobson, MSA. I appoint as a third Assistant Grand Master, Right Worshipful Brother Alan van der Vyver. I appoint as the Provincial Grand Master of the Southern Division, Right Worshipful Brother Tommy Hardiman. I appoint as the Provincial Grand Master of the Northern Division, Right Worshipful Brother Godfrey Place. I appoint as the Provincial Grand Master of the Central Division, Right Worshipful Brother Frans Appelgren. I appoint as the Provincial Grand Master of this Eastern Division, Right Worshipful Brother Basil de Kock, and I appoint as the Provincial Grand Master of the Eastern Cape Division, Right Worshipful Brother Keith Hutton. I appoint as the Grand Secretary, Most Worshipful Brother Geoffrey Edwards, OSM, and I appoint as the Grand Treasurer, Most Worshipful Brother David Duncan, OSM. Brethren, we will discuss the reporting structure in due course, but I foresee that Right Worshipful Brother Elf Bronner will oversee the Central and the Eastern Division, that Right Worshipful Brother Avron Jacobson, MSA, will oversee the Southern Division and the Eastern Cape Division, and that Right Worshipful Brother Alan van der Vyver will oversee the Northern Division. All these senior Grand Lodge officers will also either chair or serve on the various Grand Committees, and they will have specific functions and duties in this regard. I will table the list of the Grand Lodge non-commissioned officers at the Grand Committee meeting in July. To ensure the optimal function of Grand Lodge, I remind you that it has been decided to hold Grand Committee meetings once every month, instead of only 4 times a year. The Grand Secretary will advise all members within the next week of the dates of these meetings. And I anticipate that the Grand Lodge Annual General Meeting may also be held via the Zoom method, and that my installation and the investiture of the Grand Lodge officers will be held as soon as practically possible thereafter. And remember, brethren, do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. I thank you.